It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching not television, but you are watching First Warning Live. I believe that's where we are, First Warning Live. We focus on all things weather. We're sponsored by Marco's Pizza because we get hungry from time to time. But boy, have you heard the news? Maybe you've heard the news that we're going to be getting warmer. I like to phrase it as spring fever is almost here. Now, spring comes with a lot of costs, right? Maybe you put away the jacket, the heavy coats, they might be put away and then you forget where they are. But it also comes with some other issues that might relate to allergies, right? Because some of you might have sensitivities to pollen, and when tree pollen comes alive to the sound of music, sound of heat, which is coming, it's going to explode. So if you're wheezing and sneezing or have family members in your town, in your neighborhood, you may want to check on them, make sure that they are aware. By the time we get Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, it's going to come on pretty strong. That's my suspicion. But let me show you what I expect in terms of temperature. Ooh, I keep liking this. It keeps going up and up and up. I mean, temperatures were very varied today, meaning we had a 9-degree difference between Norfolk and Virginia Beach today. Let me rephrase that. 9 degrees between Virginia Beach and Norfolk today, that's a big difference. And the distance isn't that great, right? The airport, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Naval Air Station, Oceana, they're not that far apart. But these temperatures are representative of what's coming, and that means we're going to have some issues perhaps for those of you that have a little bit of sensitivity. But if you're curious, I like to do some homework. I had some help with this graphic from our buddy and meteorologist Tony Nargi. Last time we had 70 was in January of this year. That was back on January 10th. The last time we hit 80 was October 7th, and the last time we hit 90 was September 25th. So those are some dates that just kind of put it in context and perspective. But I will tell you this, the big story moving forward may very well be the pollen. I'm talking about trees. The trees will come alive to the sound of the warmth. And boy, does it come on fire tomorrow, and especially Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So if you're wheezing and sneezing, and I've got family members, I have a little bit maybe toward ragweed in the fall, but tree is the first item up for bid. It's usually what some of us get caught off guard because the trees start below. We start saying, I see daffodils, I see crocuses, I see achoo. That's what some of you are going to be feeling. So I have members in my family. I have 2 daughters, a wife, but we have some sensitivities to tree pollen and also ragweed in the fall. So if you're of the mindset that you're going to get out on a bicycle, a motorcycle, you're going to head out to the ocean front where it might be not as bad if you're near the water, but if you're inland, you're going to find some issues. I wanted to recap and give you some numbers that nobody's going to give you. Sure, the National Weather Service has it, but who's going to look it up? I will. I'm doing this for you. This is my love letter to you that love winter. How many of you love winter? I don't know if you have any winter fans on here. Maybe you have a few. I got a few on here. Bobby, this is I think a few days old. Bobby says, hey, and I see here Kim Thompson-Jones was denoting, hey, have a great rest of the week. Having some issues still with my comments, but I'll be able to read them up for you on the screen. But I do want to recap the winter of 25-26. If you recall, last February, not just a couple days ago, February 2025, we had a whopping 11 inches of snow. We finished the 16.8. So when I put this into context, December, I went back and looked, was 4.6 degrees below normal. So work with me, and then we'll get to the pizza deal of the week. 4.6. That is the coldest since 2010. It was below normal. December was extremely cold. It was the coldest since 2010. January was cold too, but it was only as cold as last January. That's weird. Maybe so, maybe not. But if you look at February of this year, it was the coldest since 2015. All of them were below normal. Pretty remarkable. But who would also tell you to go the extra mile and give you the average temperature for December, January, and February? January and February matched identically. That doesn't happen every day. 39.8. That's the average of the highs and the lows all put together. 39.8 January, February, which makes it the coldest winter. If you take the meteorological winter of December, January, February, it was the coldest in about 11 years. 2014, 2015. And I've said before, and did I mention the snow? There's the snow. 5.6. Last year we had we had 16. 16.8. I was trying to figure where I got by 11. 11.2 inches more last year. So we had 16.8 inches of snow last year for my winter fans, team snow fans. 16.8 was last year. We had 11.2 inches more snow last year compared to this year, because this year Norfolk had only 5.6, and I was expecting 3 to 7. So I was within the uprights. Some had way more. If you were up in Williamsburg, Yorktown, Gloucester, way more snow than 5.6. Some of you had 5.6 on one event going back to the 8th of December. But I just wanted to give you some context. So how are you guys doing? Let me know. I'm going to check the comments, and I'm going to keep moving because I got some other stuff to do. Oh, did I mention the deal of the week? Keeping in theme with the blue, the deal of the week this week is a one-topping pizza, medium, for only $7.99. Isn't that great? You get the best deal for watching First Warning Live. I love Marco's. They're very generous. They give back to the community in ways that you and I may not fully understand, but I will tell you this. Their promo code is our call letters, WTKR, and then M for medium, and then $7.99, because these are medium one-topping pizzas. Maybe you like green pepper, maybe you like sausage, maybe you like pepperoni, whatever one topping you want to include is all $7.99 this week. Go to marcos.com and use the promo code WTKRM, as in medium, $7.99. Love that. And we're also going to be giving away free pizza on Thursday. We're just a couple of days from that. Go to our webpage, WTKR/Marcos, and if you want to get the $7.99 pizzas, I recommend going to these 6 locations. Any one of the 6 will do. Well, 3 in Virginia Beach, 2 in Chesapeake, 1 in Norfolk, and again, they are the participating pizza franchisees that are participating in the contest. We're going to be giving away pizza for a year on Thursday, so that if you win, your name would go up on this certificate. You could put a magnet on your refrigerator and just hang it up there, so you get one every month for the rest of the year, and then in January, February of next year, you'll get one large one topping for every month for free. I love that, and we've been giving away hundreds of these since last May. Check it out. Pizzolis are also a great item for lunch. One of my personal favorites, the Magnifico, you could get for $7.99, a medium as well, but just to satisfy your appetite, go to WTKR.com. So getting back to weather, kind of curious to know what you think of this winter summary. Are you an allergy sufferer? Here's your chance to sound off. I'd love to say hi to you. I got some other notes that might be following on in keeping with this theme. And the gas bill. Kim Thompson-Jones says, what about the gas bill? TD Camp says, yep, absolutely. The $400 electric bill for February. Oh, that's a wallop. That would be heavy to take and hard to take. So TD, thank you for sharing that with us. That's another aspect of it, is the fact that we're going to be waking up to the fact that this was a cold winter, and our heating bills might reflect it going back, if you really keep your records back 11 years ago. But cold air doesn't always mean snow, right? We were hearing all about the 38 inches of snow they got up in Rhode Island from this last storm. That was compared to the Snowmageddon year of 2010. So we've had a very interesting winter, but it doesn't always mean it's going to stick in our neck of the woods, and oftentimes it just creates more puddles, because nobody that I know of in the Hampton Roads or Northeast North Carolina, we don't have any snow to show for it today. We've had some rain, which I want to get to next. By the way, we had some fog, my goodness, just in the last hour. Is it my imagination, but the oceanfront, I couldn't see it during the 6 o'clock newscast. You say that seems like hyperbole. It really isn't. If you have a chance to go back, maybe you DVR'd it. If you saw the 6 o'clock news, you could hardly see the boardwalk. It was that foggy. And we have some visibility issues maybe in some communities, some neighborhoods. 5 miles in Gloucester, 6 in Newport News right now, and it's 8 in Norfolk and Hampton. My suspicion is, and I believe we were at 43 in terms of the temperature at 6 o'clock, but now in Norfolk it's 44. So we're on our way up. Temperatures will trend upward from this point forward. I don't think we'll be waking up to the 40s. Many of us will be closer to 50 or higher. But the fog clearly has the potential to be knocking on your door in your town, your community, or your neighborhood. There's 10 o'clock, and I know it's just the graph model. Say just the graph model. It's just one of the many models. But this would suggest some marine layer of sorts, maybe some fog or a hint of fog right inland through about, say, 10 o'clock tonight. Maybe down to a half mile or less in Manio, and maybe parts of the Albemarle, maybe around Moyock perhaps. But notice, at 1 o'clock in the morning, does it get better? Not exactly. How about, say, 5 a.m.? Is it better? No, still not good. It's like, when you're in that chair, You know what I'm talking about when you're in an optometrist office and they say, is this better or worse? And they give you that big contraption, right? It's this huge thing. It's like it's an enormous thing, and you're like, I can't see it. Like, hold on. And they ask you if is it better or worse. So I ask you, is this better or worse? At 5 a.m., it looks pretty bad maybe in some spots. So we probably still have the potential for more fog even at 6 a.m. But boy, we hit 8 o'clock. Oh, it suddenly jumps to 8 miles. Maybe that's an inflection point. Maybe by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, if you're out the door early, some of the fog might be lifting and cracking and breaking and burning off, as some would call it, by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, because it really looks really bright across many of the neighborhoods by midday, and that takes us through to about 10 o'clock. I thought you would enjoy that. Let's go to the radar and satellite. I do see some raindrops right now in the here and now in Gloucester, Gwynns Island, Matthews County, Williamsburg, Seaford, looking over toward Middlesex, Saluda getting some rain. These will pass. And for others who might deal with some clouds and some low clouds and fog, these too shall pass. But the warm trend is still on target. We're waiting for this front to get further north, but right now it's raining in some parts of the peninsula and could brush through the eastern shore in just a matter of time this evening. And you can see that front drapes all the way back toward Kansas City, or at least south of it, and stretching across parts of the Midwest. Just checking in with you. Wanted to say hi to you. I got some other comments too. Taj Brown is on here. He says it's time to get some allergy medicines. You know what? I wouldn't disagree with you, my friend. Time to get some allergy medicine, says Taj Brown. And Lisa Brackett says, wowza. Absolutely. Allergies do suffer. And many of us suffer from allergies this time of year. But when it warms up, boy, those trees are going to start to bloom, and everyone's going to say, hey, I see daffodil. Hey, I see crocuses. I see a chew. That's our issue. 62 at noon, this is probably your best chance to go have some lunch outside. I would urge you to take an extended 2-hour lunch if the boss will let you. 2-hour break if your teacher will permit it. 2-hour break right in the middle of the day, I don't know, 11 to 1. You'll love it. And then 69 or about 4 o'clock, we'll start to cloud back up. So I have some fog in the morning. Sunrise is at 6:31, but it'll be going to bed at 6:02. We do change the clocks again this weekend. I talked about that. I'll get back into that too. But I do expect more cloudiness to finish out the day. Speaking of the clocks, springing forward this weekend 1 hour. When does that happen, and why should I care? Well, if you don't change your clocks, some of your devices will change automatically. Many of you know that. But there's probably that conventional stove, maybe an old style, I don't know, appliance that just doesn't want to microwave maybe doesn't want to play ball. But 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday will become 3. So this is why I call it the 47-hour weekend. Last I checked, there are 24 hours in a day, and if we do that by 2 times 2, you would typically have what? A 48-hour weekend. Now you're with me, okay? 48 hours is most weekends, but not this weekend. This is the weekend where people get grumpy. They usually direct their angst at the weatherman, or because the weatherman's the one usually having to tell them about it, or they're Congress people. You know, hey, you should pass legislation that says we shouldn't do this anymore. Or maybe we should just, instead of springing forward an hour, maybe just go halfway. That's what I've been maintaining for probably 20-some years. I think we should just go a half hour and leave it alone, right? People want to go all the way an hour, but I think that would mess us up. I think in the winter it would mess you up. I think if you just split the difference, have a compromise. And then maybe, just maybe, you'll feel like the benefit is this. This is the benefit, right? The fact that you lose an hour of sleep, an hour of reading, an hour of scrolling on Instagram or TikTok. You get a sunset time of 7:06. It goes to bed tomorrow at 6:02. So 7:06 is the Sunday morning sunset. That means your dog, he or she, will be clicking her or his heels with some bacon and a walk around the block from you if you just take that extra hour. So I encourage you to take advantage of this time. Change the batteries in your smoke detectors. Maybe you need to change those air filters in your home or your apartment. You know what I'm saying? Just time to do some spring cleaning maybe. But you get an extra hour on the sunset time, you are going to be subtracting in the sunrise department as we get longer. Sun will be coming up at 7:26. Any questions on this? I love being able to point this out way ahead of the curve, because who else is going to tell you a Norfolk sunset's at 7:06? I did the homework for you. See, that's why you watch First Warning Live. Anyway, got some other comments from you. Let me know. I'm just looking at my laptop. Time to get some ready for some allergy meds was the comment from Taj Brown. Lisa said, wowza. TD Camp reminds us that heating bills are no fun this time of year. I would agree. And there will be more issues, I'm sure, when people get their, they start getting their, their bills in the mail, or you get it via email and then you pay via the app. Dominion Energy, all the rest, that's coming very, very soon. So let's get to the nuts and bolts. I don't want to delay it any further. It is raining in Williamsburg. We saw some showers, but this is a projection at 8 o'clock, which is really about 6 minutes from now. But it looks like it's moving into the eastern shore. That seems to be the trend based on what we were seeing on the radar. But even by the time we hit 11 o'clock, it looks like it disappears. Maybe a leftover shower in Chincoteague, well in the northern part of Accomack County. Now, we move into 7 a.m., another shower comes back. Interesting play here, because we've already talked about the fog. That might be covering areas in here, all through here, while it might be raining up in parts of the peninsulas and the eastern shore at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. But lo and behold, I told you that the brightest time of tomorrow will likely be midday. And here's 12 noon, not a cloud in sight. Right through the Albemarle, but it will cloud back up second half of the day. So noontime, we're in the low 60s. It looks pretty sweet by my account, so I think that's the time to seize the day tomorrow. And then we cloud back up just a little bit, right? 4 o'clock, couple of showers in Middlesex County, possibly Matthews, maybe up towards Salisbury, Maryland, some showers up there in the northern neck. Now, by 8 o'clock tomorrow night, we might see again more fog beginning to form in the overnights. You see this little thin layer of gray. That could be very well indicative of more fog because the winds are pretty light. You can see they're only 4 miles an hour. Fog may be greeting us even on Thursday morning. So this is a multi-morning event where we get a little bit of fog, but it burns off. And the finishing product is a nice warm day, usually well into the 70s. Certainly by Thursday, I have us at 75. 75 will be a sweet finish. Look at that, 5 o'clock Thursday. I don't know if anybody's going to be inside. And if they are inside playing games or scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, somebody, their parent or grandparent should say, hey, get outside. It's nice outside. It's 75 degrees. You've been cooped up all winter. It's time to get outside. And of course, unless you have, allergies, sensitivities to tree pollen, then you want to make sure you take care of yourself. But all that having said, maybe getting the bicycle all ready to go. Need some air in the tires. Check make sure that the air in the tires are ready to go so that you won't have to waste any time before this big event. I call it a big event because we love to say goodbye to seasons, and we are saying season's greetings, say hello to spring in just a few short hours. Showers will continue at 4 o'clock tomorrow in West Virginia. Looks like southern Pennsylvania, but we're under this warm sector for multiple days. It is not a one and done situation, but it will continue on how it goes. Taj Brown has a question. He says, wonder how it'll affect my wake up timing. You know, I've heard people say, Taj, I've heard many people say over the years, they think that they lose that hour's sleep. They'll complain and say, you know what, my biorhythms are off. And I go, you're what? They're like, oh, I'm not feeling 100%, or I'm just not my normal self. My sleep rhythms, I don't know, the REM sleep, cicada rhythms, I don't know, whatever you got. Something isn't in step. Once you remove that hour, people feel grumpy, and that's just what I've noticed. But maybe you can monitor your own self in that regard. Current conditions look pretty foggy. Very, very light winds, 3 miles an hour, temperatures in the 40s and 50s. I mean, you don't have to look beyond Chesapeake. The Chesapeake Bay around Chicks Beach is very foggy, right? We can assume that there is a bay in this picture. We just can't see it. Visibility isn't that bad downtown Norfolk. Really not that bad. I can see the Wright Brothers Memorial there, Kill Devil Hills, and we can see maybe a little bit of fog on the glass there on the camera in Williamsburg, but all told, it looks like it's really, really thick the closer you get to the Chesapeake Bay at the moment. Our low temperature this morning, it came in, what time did that come in? I believe it was 10, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check because I had it written down. Oh, I did write it down. It actually 10:21 this morning. Our low was 39. It was 37 in Newport News, 37 Hampton. Our friends in Suffolk dropped to 39, and we had a low of Ahoskie at 37 degrees this morning. Now, if you look at our timeline here, we did get it to 57, I believe, in Virginia Beach. Here's represented 55. But notice the huge difference. 48 was the top temperature for Norfolk. We didn't get any higher than 48. So if I carry this through, and that shows 5 o'clock was the time frame. Because of the fog, our temperatures were very, very different. I mean, Chesapeake, let's be fair. They were 13 degrees warmer in Chesapeake today. 61. Chesapeake, the airport, was 61. Norfolk International was 48. So, yeah, 13-degree difference there, a 9-degree difference if we go ahead and fast forward to the highs. There they are. So the high temperature of Virginia Beach was 57. So that was 9 degrees warmer than Norfolk, 9 degrees warmer than Hampton. And it's going to be cooler in the Eastern Shore. These are the spots I think are going to remain a little bit slow on the spring fever. But some locations, maybe even Manio or Duck, might struggle to see the 70s until later on this week. So that is where we were. 48 was our high. That occurred at 5, just after 5 o'clock today. So it was after the initial climate report came out. But 59 in Suffolk. And we saw a high temperature today in Edenton and Elizabeth City at 64. So we hit 48. That is nowhere near the record high of 77, which occurred back in 1923 and 1974. But if you look at these 3 dates here, we clearly have 2 below normal dates and 1 above normal date. And that would be, Sunday? But this is going to turn red, 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 red. I mean, I think we're going to have a string of reds that March is going to look vastly different than the way these last few months. Because if you go back to February, yeah, we had 18 below normal in February. This is representative February, and we have the first 9 days were below normal. I think we're going to start to see this go in fire and fuego as we head into March, where we're just like knocking them one after the other on the other side of the ledger. It's going to be very, very warm moving forward. Here's the 8 o'clock temperatures. It's 8:01, and we dropped yet another degree. We were 44 at 7. We were 43 at 6, but now we're back to 42. So we can't make up our mind. Virginia Beach is at 43, but it's 10 degrees warmer in Chesapeake. Can you imagine if you had to forecast these numbers, like what's the low tonight? Well, the better question is, where do you live? Because if you're closer to the coast, you're obviously dealing with more fog. It was chilly, says Kim Thompson-Jones, in Portsmouth all day. I kept waiting for it to get warmer in Portsmouth, but it never happened. Oh, and she's got the crying tear face. Don't worry, Kim. Don't worry, Kim. I said this was like the transitional day. Because tomorrow at midday, you won't feel like that. When you get out at midday, if you get some time off, I encourage you to block off 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And if you can go 2 p.m., even better. But you're going to get the warmest time of the day and the brightest time of the day tomorrow. And that's true of Portsmouth, too. I think that's true of Portsmouth, too. Speaking of Portsmouth, they're at 43 right now. It's 50 in Hertford, 46 in Manio, and 46 in Surrey. 44 in Gloucester. And if you're looking for cold air, it's retreating even in Detroit. They're at 36. And they're just below freezing in Bangor, Maine. They were at 12 this time yesterday. 12 is kind of cold no matter how you slice it. I'm going to share with you a little trip I made. I went out to the Chesapeake City Park on Sunday, and I had a chance to go out and look at the park. I've been there many times, but it was interesting as I passed the shelters and I saw. Yesterday I showed you my interview, my little snippet from Jordan. He likes to ride his skateboard. I went out by the basketball court and I ran into Dylan and I ran into Darnell. Darnell's the dad, but I wanted to share with you a question that Dylan had that you might share as well. Let's hear it from Dylan. What's up, Dylan?
Hi, I'm Dylan at the Chesapeake City Park, and my question is, when is it going to get hot outside? Because if it is, I might not be outside as much.
Yes, I think we get really, really hot typically at the end of May and into June. And I say that, Dylan, because our normal high this time of year is 57. We start getting into the 80s for normals at the end of May, and boy, does it get humid in June and July. It's been that way the last couple of years. So I encourage you to get out inside. I mean, 70s really isn't hot, but if you have to take a pick, play some basketball with your dad, Darnell, who was very, very delightful, or stay inside. I think the option this week would be to get outside as much as you possibly can. So love these pictures. I was out there, and I'll have one more from Chesapeake City Park. Chesapeake City Park tomorrow, one more. I'll cover that on Wednesday. By the way, if you're looking for some really cold air, just follow the area north of the white line. That's the freezing line. The really Arctic cold air, clearly by far part away is going to stay to the north. We stay nice and toasty. This takes us through March the 6th. But as I said yesterday, there's going to be a little bit of a pullback. I think it's coming around the 13th to the 17th. That's the 13th through about maybe St. Patty's Day. Doesn't mean it gets harshly cold, but it's not going to be as warm as you see in the future now. All we hear about 70s, 70s, 70s. Well, the 70s I think will be disappearing, and we'll be maybe replacing it with 50s and 60s as we head toward the 13th. And that's what this represents here. You can see some of the colors are more green, which is a cooler color than the nice warm orange and yellows that you see in Florida or Georgia. So there will be an ebb and flow, a little bit of a pullback, I think, by middle of March. Weather headlines: temperatures rise tonight, clouds and early fog. Spring fever is almost here, highs near 70 tomorrow. And then the rest of the week is considerably warmer, highs well into the 70s. Can you imagine that? I mean, some of you are like, yeah, I thought you just covered that. Well, for those of you that are just joining us late, make sure that you're on board, you know what we're expecting. So again, if you missed that big announcement, we'll be near 80 by Friday. I think 78 is reasonable. Certainly in the shade. There'll be some inland Virginia and inland North Carolina like Edenton, Ahoskie, Emporia that could be flirting with 80 degrees before the end of the week. Isn't that amazing? I think so. Let's see here. Kim says, or Tosh says, I get up like 5, sometimes 4 and can't go back to sleep. Hopefully it changes at least 6. So yeah, I think that a lot of people are still talking about this changing of the clocks thing. Nobody's a fan of losing an hour, but when it comes time in the fall when we're playing football at high school and NFL levels, and they say, hey, we're going to fall back an hour, people are like, okay, I could take that. That's always agreeable, but having to give it back, that's the hard part. I get it. Temperatures by Sunday, though, about 71. Normal high is about 57. Chance of precipitation is pretty muted. We do have a few passing showers peninsula, eastern shore tonight. But during the day tomorrow, about a 10% chance, and I think it'll be pretty much in the morning, coincidental with the fog. But then a pullback Thursday, and then we're back to about a 30% chance on Sunday. I mentioned that watching this cold air, it's like trying to peg Jell-O to the wall. If you were to try and pin and peg where that pink area is going to end up, it will drop some of the temperatures by the time we hit the 12th or 13th. You can see that little trough in Missouri, Illinois. That will also drop our temperatures a bit by middle of March, and that's where I think we'll be. In fact, I think this shows it a little bit better. This is the upper air pattern. So where you see the warm colors in orange, Atlanta, Virginia Beach, and North Carolina, it gets really toasty. That's the day we're pushing 78. Then there should be a lot of 80s down here in South Carolina and Georgia, maybe even Tennessee at that point. But once we move into, say, Sunday, we're a little bit cooler, I think we'll be lucky to get to 71 by the 8th of March, and that's, of course, we're also going to see the big cool down like so. This comes in on Thursday. So really, you're going to start seeing our temperatures drop. The expectation will be by the time we hit maybe the 11th, 12th, and 13th, we get a little bit of surge of cold air, and people are going to be mad again, maybe grumpy that there wasn't any consistency, but that's just the way it goes. Having multiple sources for information can help protect you and your family and your neighborhood anytime of the year, but especially during severe weather season. The First Warning Weather app, News 3, and a NOAA Radio can help do that for you, so I encourage you to download our app so that you stay in the know when weather is breaking. By the way, the satellite radar shows what's going on around the country now. If you're in the military, and I zoom back in, maybe look into the northwest rather, the Pacific. Seattle's got some rain. Oregon's got some rain. We got some showers in Utah. It looks like maybe, not Utah, Colorado, excuse me. Colorado's got some snow around the Denver area, maybe west of Denver. Very rarely is it in Denver. It's in the Rockies. Colorado Springs might be dealing with some rain around up and down I-25. Looking further east, head down to Oklahoma City. They've got some rain showers there. I'm looking for some thunder, some lightning. There is some heavy downpours in red across central Illinois and Indiana tonight. Parkersburg, West Virginia's got rain funneling into their neighborhood, and now it's moving further south. It's moved into D.C. It's definitely affecting areas in our peninsulas and now stretching across Exmoor, or at least trying to show signs of moving into Exmoor in the eastern shore. And that's kind of lines up nicely with the graph model when we looked at that futurecast just a moment ago as it heads in the direction of the eastern shore. So that's where things are at the moment. It is 8:08. I wanted to show you the European model for the next 10 days. Last I checked, today is March the 3rd. This is Friday, March 13th. And if you're looking for a pattern of, hey, are we going to get cold air, are we going to get rain, look no further than this macro view, because you can see snow really piles up in the Denver area later next week, if not later this week. This really kind of fires up into Quebec, and then we just get a big area of rain from Houston, Memphis, all the way up toward New England. That kind of fizzles out once it gets along the coast. But by the time we hit Friday the 13th, nothing spooky about that. We got more rain coming into town with more snow, it appears, in upstate New York, maybe a mix, and maybe some snow across Montana and North Dakota. So there's some indications that we are probably done with the worst of winter by far. 39 DC is our current temperature. It is 50 in Raleigh, 43 Virginia Beach. There's certainly a cold pocket right in here. And even still, this will be overcome. The pattern will allow for us to warm up to, but it's going to take maybe another, obviously, 12 to 18 hours to get there as we get into tomorrow. 12 hours from now would be 8 in the morning. So, yeah, I would say about 2 in the afternoon tomorrow. Some of you will be very, very happy with where we are temperature-wise. Now, Nashville's at 65. I think we got a good shot at getting to 69 tomorrow. They're still in the 70s at this very hour in Little Rock, in Jackson, Mississippi, but 81 in San Antonio, 84 in Phoenix. If you're looking for the really cold air, it hasn't gone away. It's on vacation. It's up in the northern parts of Canada, where we're hoping it'll stay, at least in the short term. We've got 51 right now in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Dew points are in the 40s and 30s across much of the mid-Atlantic, 30s for New York City. But if you follow along with the blue highway, the cold highway, it eventually will try and make another another pass by as we head into the 12th and 13th. Based on what we're seeing here, you can clearly see that cold air moving into Montana, in Minnesota, and into the Dakotas. Ultimately, I think we're going to see some of this come back around. Now, as far as the temperature outlook, this is from the Climate Prediction Center. There is clearly, by the next 6 to 10 days, a heavy emphasis on above normal temperatures. Right in here, there's actually multiple shades of red in both North Carolina and South Carolina, and those are the areas that are most likely to well exceed expectations. While near normal across much of the upper plain states, maybe slightly below normal in northern Washington state as it's depicted there. Let's see, Kim says, hey, good to see you again. Amy Thompson is on here. She says, hello, hey y'all, she says, and Amber Hatchett says, glad to see warm weather and daylight saving time. Some people love the daylight saving time. Like I said, I can't underscore enough that a 7:06 sunset will actually be pretty welcoming, especially as each day we get longer days. Having those longer days, there's something psychological about that. So let's just embrace it, right? You're not going to change it this year. Maybe somebody will have a better idea than the one I proposed, which is split halfway. But even still, some would say, well, that would mess up all the records. When I say records, I mean we keep records from midnight to midnight standard time. Even in the daylight time on the EDT, the Weather Service will still go from 1 a.m. to 1 p.m. 1 a.m. So they want to keep it. They want to keep it consistent. I do know that. I know that they like to keep their records consistent. By the way, the Eastern Shore tomorrow will be in the mid 50s. Whether you're in Chincoteague or Onancock, there's still about a 20% chance you get a passing shower. Some foggy conditions. Cape Charles can be expected as well. Exmoor, 50s, about 64 Kill Devil Hills. A little bit of fog in Nag's Head tomorrow, 62. A little bit of a marine layer, Manio, Wanchese, 65. And about 62 Rodanthe, 60 Hatteras, and Ocracoke tomorrow. Kind of wrap things up with our severe thunderstorm risk categories. And I know when we look at isolated severe storms, the ones that might pop up tonight would be featured between Oklahoma City, Kansas City, and maybe Springfield, Missouri. There's not a whole lot going on elsewhere, so we'll skip over that and head back toward the day tomorrow. Tomorrow has actually 2 layers, 2 outlooks, level 1 and 2. Level 2 being scattered, that's the yellow. That would include Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it would include Fort Smith, Arkansas, Dallas, Sherman, Texas, just north of Tyler and north of Waco. If we move further north toward Branson, Missouri, if you've ever been there or heard of that place, that has a very active tourist destination is Branson. From what I gather, Carbondale, Illinois could have some scattered severe storms tomorrow. So if you're in the military and this is of use to you and you're traveling, maybe you have family in these areas, they need to be on the lookout for severe weather. And as I said, we would start severe weather season early. Look at Thursday. We're doing it again, but different parts of the country. It looks like Texas, or Amarillo, Dodge City, Kansas, looks like maybe parts of western Oklahoma, and isolated severe storms in Oklahoma City. So San Angelo points north over toward Omaha could have some isolated severe storms. So that is Thursday as a whole. So really you want to kind of highlight, we're going to keep an eye on the severe weather threat as we warm up, and there'll be clashes with the cold air north. We're going to get severe weather breakouts. I'm certain of that. 11 o'clock tonight, maybe a passing shower left in Chincoteague. Tomorrow morning, we kind of covered this, but just for those who joined us late, got some rain showers around Middlesex tomorrow morning. Matthews, maybe Williamsburg at 7 a.m. While fog will be an issue in other locations. But by the time we hit 11 o'clock to about, say, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, probably your brightest time of the day. So like I said, if you can feign an illness, no, I wouldn't say that. I mean, if you could get approved time off between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m., you will be outside for the best part of the day. You will be outside for the best part of the day because we're going to cloud back up a little bit between 3 and 4. It's not terribly bad, but I think the best part of the day will have passed, and we'll see our temperatures top off in the upper 60s to near 70. We'll get to that in a second. 11 o'clock, and then into 7 a.m. Thursday, more fog, yeah, a little bit of fog, greeting you early Thursday morning, and then hazy sunshine thereafter. For Thursday's high temperature should be about 75. We've already covered the fact that this warm front's lifting, so it's going to last for multiple days. All right, tonight's lows pretty much are where we are right now. It's almost a moot point to focus too much on how lows are going to be tonight, because when you wake up tomorrow morning, you'll be closer to 50 in this area, right? Maybe 46 early on for Franklin, but I do suspect that our temperatures will rise. They did rise between 6 and 7. They pulled back another hour, but with this fog, I think we're going to see our temperatures climb back up as we sleep tonight. Temperatures tonight could maybe get closer to Corral at 42, 47. So think of these as evening low temperatures, but by the time you get out the door tomorrow, you might be closer to 50 on the south side, closer to 47 in the peninsulas, closer to 52 for North Carolina. That's my early expectation for tomorrow morning. And then the afternoon is just delightful. If you're lucky, you get to 62 on the peninsulas, but 73 I think is achievable for North Carolina, 69 south side. What does that look like? Well, pick out your favorite neighborhood, pick out your favorite town, because many of you will be in the 70s tomorrow, from Conway to Windsor to Edenton. Now notice it stops short of 70 north of this area. So if you're in Portsmouth, about 68. If you're in Duck, only 62. And we kind of highlighted that 50s might be more common for many parts of the Eastern Shore. The Eastern Shore, I think, will be colder than, say, Gloucester. Gloucester has a better chance of getting in the 60s. Hampton, about 64, about 70 for Wakefield. So that just gives you an idea of how different the variability will be tomorrow. Now, fog will play a big role in that. Wind direction will play a role in that. But I do think we're back up to about 68 for Chesapeake. 69 Norfolk is my expectation, and 73 in Hertford tomorrow afternoon. Here's your first warning. WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. So 75 Thursday. Spring fever, 100% with some early fog. When these lows are in the 50s, that is a signal. That is the bat signal. You know what the bat signal? Somebody like, I don't remember the 60s show. Well, all right, there's been all sorts of different variations of Batman. But if you remember the bat signal, that is a bat signal for pollen. When you're in the 50s, tree pollen will come alive. If you can't get below 50 in the morning, you might think it's grand and wonderful and just exuberance and excitement. But the trees are just going to come alive. And some of you who have allergies are going, oh, it's killing me. So this is the time those trees are going to come alive. 75, 78, 77, just trying to keep you out ahead of the schedule so that you know what's happening. And we're changing the clocks back, but we will see temperatures struggle to hit 70, I think, if not Sunday, definitely Monday. Monday we pull back and then race back up to mid-70s on Tuesday. Does that help? I hope so. I hope that helps. By the way, great happy shots to share with you. Night light at the coal terminal. This is from our friend Charles Terrell, and he captured this. This kind of looks like the bat signal, right? I like it. That was where I kind of was going with it. But it looks like the bat signal. There could be a Batman theme in there. But as we look at this cool drone from Jesse, this is from Lesnar Bridge, underneath the bridge. Who goes underneath the bridge? A drone. A drone does. So this drone, Jesse, controlling the drone, I think it's great. I mean, there's a lot of backstory with this cool picture. He took it with a Nikon. He even explained all this at the WTKR Facebook group. WTKR Photographers Facebook group. But Jesse, thank you for sharing this picture with us, because I think it's kind of cool. It almost looks like the Batman. I mean, we went from the bat signal to the bat theme. I mean, there's a Batman theme in there. It almost looks like Batman with the colors. But the last one I'll leave you is what we call, or he calls, Winter Fire. Winter Fire from Michael. Thank you for sharing this great picture from Virginia Beach. Another reason why we love living here, because there's so much beauty in our neighborhoods. Did I mention it's raining? Oh, it's not so beautiful now because it's raining in the peninsulas. Boo, but it won't last all night long. This too shall pass. We'll get some fog again in the morning. We'll get some rain, and so it goes. Temperatures 69 tomorrow, 75 Thursday, 78 Friday. Did I mention you can save some money? Oh, you can save $1. Hey, $1 helps, especially if you're going to order more than one. Medium one-topping pizzas, the deal of the week, is really cool. Any topping that you can imagine, whether it's pineapple, whether it's sausage, pepperoni, green pepper, mushroom, just use the promo code, our TV call letters, WTKR, and then M for medium, $7.99. It'll take $1 off. That's kind of cool. It's the best deals. I mean, when the corporation is selling them for $8.99, if you're a First Warning Live viewer, you get it for $7.99. I love that. Thank you for supporting David and WTKR First Warning Live. That's a message from our Marcos sponsor. So make sure you make note of that promo code. No coupon needed. Just the promo code WTKRM790. By the way, these are the 6 locations that will give you a $7.99 one-topping pizza. I encourage you and urge you to sign up. If you've done it once, you only have to do it once. Go to WTKR.com/Marcos. Sign up for the free pizza of the year giveaway. We give away these certificates every week. Literally dozens, if not dozens of people have won this certificate, but hundreds of people have won pizzas because we're going to be giving away individual pies, just like we do normally with give away these individual pizzas. That's how we do it. And it's kind of cool because you may be one of those people that have never had Marco's. You'll be appreciative of when you get a free pizza. Those are kind of cool to have any time of the year. By the way, as I mentioned, the forecast about 77 Saturday. Weekend we'll have a few showers, I think, on Sunday. 30% chance, temperatures there, about 71. Not a washout, but a few showers may be increasing mid to late afternoon. All right, just a reminder, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or serious. Doesn't matter if it's super warm. Okay, it's kind of nice that it's super warm. But even still, even the super warm days, every day is a gift. Yesterday, we can't change. Today, last I checked, I can't go back in time and change that either. But I have the opportunity to change tomorrow, and so do you. We'll do our best to make our neighborhoods a little bit better. Maybe we can. That'd be kind of cool. Anyway, we'll see you here. And make the most of your special day. Every day is a gift. Make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll see you here tomorrow. Take care.